Was Tony Robbins Business Mastery worth it? The short answer is yes, but listen carefully because that doesn't mean that it will be worth it for everyone who takes it. Hi everyone, my name is Ari the Creator, but that is because you are the creator of your prosperous life, future, and business. And even if you don't have a business yet, you can create a business. And that's what I love about Tony Robbins Business Mastery is that you can go in as a fresh newbie or as an established business owner and you can still gain value from the experience. Believe it or not, I didn't have a business when I started Tony Robbins Business Mastery. I didn't even know what my business was. I didn't know what my niche was. However, I did it because I knew that it would make me into a really strong and resourceful entrepreneur. And it's actually been 3 years since I've taken the program. And what I've learned, both for mindset and both with the strategy, still applies to this day. So that's the power in this program, is that you can go in as a fresh newbie and it will put you on a projectile to really build strong business foundations and to scale it to a point where you're like me now. So again, I was inspired to film this video because currently I'm at home visiting my mom and I used to be living here. And I moved back in shortly after college and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I invested all my money into Tony Robbins Business Mastery and I got resourceful. And at the event, I built these really strong foundations that allowed me to build a 6-figure business and move to San Diego. And so that's what my reality is. I live in San Diego, I live fully off of my business, and I currently help conscious experts to scale to 100K and beyond with my 5-step YouTube business playbook. So I help people turn their YouTube channels into viable businesses. And I got that clarity from Tony Robbins. However, when you're going to the event, because I'd even talked to people, I was actually talking to someone before I started filming this video, and she was like, I was just talking to someone who did Tony Robbins Business Mastery, and he said that it wasn't worth how much he spent. And so I want to talk to you about that, because there are certain things that I recommend so that you can make the most of the experience. Now, I don't know this guy, I don't know what he did, but he may have not followed what I'm about to share with you right now. So going to Business Mastery, I strongly recommend that you network to your full capacity, because if you don't make value, if you don't take full advantage of the connections that you can make there, then it may not be worth it to you because there's so many geniuses who go to Business Mastery. There's so much potential for business collaborations, for even doing stuff like podcasts, or for me, I actually attracted people who later on became clients, but also I met mentors there. I met my mentors, and the reason why my mentors reached out to me, by the way, I did Business Mastery virtually, so it was all online. But the reason why these mentors reached out to me was because I really stood out from the crowd. And so when you network there, you also want to put yourself fully out there so that these people can see you. So that's the second thing you want to do. So you want to play full out. So whether you're doing it virtually or in person, whatever the exercises are, make sure you do them to your fullest extent. If Tony has you jumping up and down, jump up and down because he's putting you into state. He's putting you into the right physiology because you need to have good physiology before you implement the strategy and before you can really embody this empowering story about yourself. So you definitely want to play full out when you're going to these events. Otherwise, guess what? It's not going to be worth it. Another thing as well is you want to take so much notes. So you want to write notes so that your brain remembers it, but you also want to review those notes. So after Business Mastery, I had a whole notebook filled with notes, but I didn't just toss it to the side. No, I reviewed those notes. I have bad handwriting, so I even rewrote it into a different notebook just to really reinforce some of this stuff. I made little diagrams. I always reviewed it constantly, because it's not enough just to learn something at Business Mastery. You have to really ingrain it in you. So writing stuff down, actually practicing it is important because here's the thing, they give you so much value at this conference. Tony has all these speakers, whether you're doing it virtually or in person, there's all these speakers and they're all going to give so much information. And it's just not reasonable to think that you could just hear it once and remember it. You got to write it down. You got to review it. You got to implement it. Also, it is good to have a coach or mentor helping you along the way because after Business Mastery, obviously Tony wasn't there to help me implement stuff. And so I did have my mentor who I met at the event and she was helping me. I met another gentleman too. So they were both helping me along the way because, Tony is just one guy. He can't sit there and hold your hand and just hope that you implement this. No, you got to be an action taker. You have to really take control of your own life. Again, this is why I go by Ari the Creator, because you are the creator. And again, I don't know that gentleman who said that he didn't get value from it, but I can practically guarantee that he didn't do these three things that I mentioned. This is what will make business mastery worth it. If you don't do these things, I'm sorry, but it's just not going to be worth it. And I hope that this really inspired you, because whether you are a newbie or whether you are established, I'm telling you, there is value at this event. Especially if you're newer, don't think that you can't go to business mastery because you don't have a business. I'm telling you, you will get clarity there if you play full out, if you have the intention. So your beliefs really do create your reality. So if you go into the event and you think, oh, I'm not going to earn my money's worth, like I'm out of place, guess what? That's the reality that you experience. But if you go in there and, you present yourself well and you're like, you know what? I don't have a business, but I'm going to come in with an open mind and I'm just going to see what I learn. I'm going to see what comes to me. So yeah, really take advantage of that. Really take advantage of everything that he's offering. And I'm telling you, it will be worth it. And here I am, literally 3 years. I took it in August of 2021. It's currently June of 2024. So it's been practically 3 years. And I didn't just take off right away after the event. I had to implement, and I had to wait for things, for like my seeds to sprout. And they absolutely did. So again, I help conscious experts to scale to 100K and beyond with my 5-step YouTube business playbook. I created this process from the event, and everything that I learned helped me to establish my business. I have do-it-yourself products. I teach people one-on-one. I have my group, and I learned all the skills. I gained the confidence and the strategy from that event. And Tony Robbins actually talked about how when he was younger, I think like in his late teens, he talked about how he was working as a janitor and he wanted to go to this event. I think it was Jim Rohn's. And the event, it was a seminar, it was like $40, which was at the time a lot of money. And Tony didn't have the money, but he got resourceful. And so I knew going into this event that it would make me into a really resourceful entrepreneur. So don't let the cost of it prohibit you either, because I was a broke college senior when I said yes to this event. I didn't have the money. I was working for minimum wage as a barista, as a full-time college student during COVID. And I heard about the event and I was just like, you know what? This isn't going to be easy, but I know that it's going to make me into a very resourceful entrepreneur. And I knew as well that one day I'll be telling the story and inspiring other people, kind of like how Tony did as well when he spent all his money on this $40 Jim Rohn event. And so I knew that it would help me. And so I got resourceful. What did I do? I sold my freaking blood plasma. I got a needle shot up my arm twice a week to afford to go to this event. I earned money from that. What else did I do? I was working as a barista. I was a test subject in MRI studies. So in our psychology department at our university, there was flyers for being a test subject. And so I went into a freaking MRI machine to get my brain scanned so that I could earn money to go to this conference. So at the time that I went, it was $10,000 for the conference. I had to put down a down payment of $2,000. And that was actually money that was supposed to go towards my thesis. I got a grant from my school, but it was during COVID, so everything was weird. They never asked me for that money back, but I just put it towards Tony Robbins, and I applied for loans from our university was really supporting entrepreneurs. So I got like a scholarship or a grant, whatever you call it. What else did I do? I learned how to sell stocks. That didn't go well. I didn't earn a return fast, but I was still like very proactive. And one time I was sick with COVID and I had family members reaching out to me being like, oh, honey, like, what do you need? And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm a little bit tight on money if you can send it over. And they're like, oh, happily. They sent me money that way. So you have to get really resourceful. If I was able to do this during COVID, what is your excuse? Like, seriously. And I know some of you may have children. I know some of you may be in debt, but you have to really trust in yourself in this process. If you don't get the result that you desire from Business Mastery, you cannot point your finger at Tony and say it's his fault. Tony is giving you all the tools and the resources. Obviously, he's one guy and he can't hold everyone's hand, which I'm sure he wouldn't even want to, but you have to take full responsibility and full control of this. And you need to really just take responsibility. And those are the people who succeed in business. Those are the leaders. If you're someone who points fingers, like, I'm sorry to say it, but you may not get very far in business because you're not taking full responsibility and leadership for your own life. So it's really important note to carry forward. So yeah, I hope you found value from this video. I hope this helps you decide whether Tony Robbins Business Mastery is the right fit for you. So yeah, if you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know down below. I'm happy to answer any other questions or to help you, but I'm telling you, regardless of your situation, you can choose to be the creator and make this into one of the best experiences of your life. So I fully give, like, Tony's like my number one hero, and I give him like so much credit for where I am now, because even when I was little, I read his books, and that's why like I chose to really step into my full potential as not just an entrepreneur, but as a human being. And ever since then, like, my life has been like, I feel like I'm the main character of the movie, honestly, and I want everyone to experience that, because you are the main character, and you can step into your full power and really awaken the giant within. You see there, I used Tony's book. But yeah, everyone, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you found this valuable, and I encourage you to watch this other video that I made right before. I think I filmed this right before I actually went to Tony Robbins, so you can get my perspective of it back then.